Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm here with a good friend of mine, Mr. John Crestani, who I'm actually very jealous that you have this, which I can't get going on good, the mustache. How long has that been growing?
How long? What'd you
Yeah,
say?
like how long have you been growing that beard?
Since probably about since I quit my job back in 2012. I
Oh,
just kind
so
of
it's more
figured
than
I
facial hair. It's like a symbol for you, right? Like a freedom, I guess.
yeah, a little bit. I never really grew a beard, so I was kind of like, this will be fun. Let's try something out new, and it's just kind of
Plus, like,
stuck with me.
gotcha. And with like Corona going on, I don't think you don't want to go to barbers and trim it up. But
Yeah,
so if you got
well, I used to travel a lot, and so I just didn't want to be dealing with, shaving every day. So I figured let it grow long, less maintenance, and more time.
Yeah, nice. So, if you guys who are watching don't know, John is an affiliate legend, a marketing legend. Yeah, I'm sure you can probably tout yourself up better than me, but he's made a lot of money, and he's really talented at what he does. And I think you do a lot of things unique. You're pretty innovative at what you do. And I want to make this kind of interview kind of focused on, you told me your hub and spoke model for social media, kind of what you're doing to
Hmm.
grow like
Hmm.
hundreds of thousands of followers.
Hmm.
But also stuff that's like relative to 2020, because like, I don't know, man, if you've ever been in a year that's weird. Um, there's
Yeah.
just a lot of like things at play in the world. And I think things are like just shifting weirdly in a
Yeah.
lot of markets. So like your opinions on things.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Yeah, definitely. I have a lot to share on those subjects.
Cool. So if you guys are live, say what's up. What's up, Jake? You have the same last name as me, dude. That's
What's up, Jake Perez?
so if you guys don't know, like we've worked with John before, and it's just cool seeing how much one person can do, which is rare. So actually, I want to like ask you that first. Like how are you so productive? like what are the things you focus on every day? Like, you know, well, you're gonna pull something out.
So here's a
Oh, the
big,
Adderall.
big. I'm going to show you. I'll tell the viewers that are listening in a big, big, big reason for my productivity.
Is that a beeper?
This
Oh,
is this is a flip phone, and this has no apps on it. You can't put apps on this phone. The battery lasts forever, but I can't go on Facebook on this phone. I can't go. I can't do anything on this phone. Even the messages and notifications and the phone calls are all turned off on my flip phone, except for my wife. This has allowed me. So when I want to take a call, when somebody calls me, I call them back when I have time. I when I get an email, I don't get a beep, I don't get a light blinking, I don't get anything. As you noticed, I even kept the sticker on the front so it can't interrupt me if I accidentally set it face up. So
that's
being able,
yeah, it's almost like Dan Kennedy like type, you know?
well, these distractions impede our life. I'd say every 5 minutes, normal people spend reacting to a text message, to a Skype message, to a Facebook message, to an Instagram DM, to a comment on one of their Facebook posts. I mean, to a new TikTok from somebody they're subscribed to. The opportunities are endless. And if you can't control yourself,
Yeah.
how are you supposed to
In the
control
world we live
business?
in, like there's so much connections, but like I guess the con is it pulls you more, and it just makes it harder to create for people. I think I actually have it's in my kitchen. It's funny that you said that. Like it's like a time block container, and
Mm-hmm.
whenever I feel like I'm like I was on my phone too much, I throw my phone in there. I put it for 30 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty nice. But the flip phone, man, that's next level. I did not expect that, dude. Uh,
Yeah.
was it the Motorola? The razors were pretty cool back in the day.
No, it's
Well,
just some
actually,
weird brand. I
I
bought
had
it for
the
$25 from Walmart. So
okay, that's great. That's a great investment.
yeah,
I had like the Nextel one that had the walkie-talkie. That one was really fun.
yeah, that's cool.
Cool. So for people who don't know who you are, what's up, everybody? We got a bunch of people on here. Give me a hashtag live if you're here. Say what's up to John. If you have any questions, drop them below. John gives really good answers. I was watching your Q&A the other day on YouTube, and
Oh, cool.
you tell it like it is, man, which is good. Um, So, can you tell people who don't know who you are, like, in your own words, like why you're awesome?
Sure. So I'm an internet marketer. I've been doing internet marketing since 2009. Been doing affiliate marketing, which is performance based marketing for businesses online. And what's great about affiliate marketing is that you can earn as much money as you want. It's just, it's because it's paying for performance. So you get more sales for the company or leads or whatever the company wants, app installs, you make more money. You make $5 per app install. So you can send as much business as you want to many of these companies. So that was where I made my first money. And I've really been delving into technology and software lately, education, so really my foundation is marketing. But at the end of the day, I'm interested in people. I'm interested in helping people be able to work from home without having to go the corporate ladder route, which was what I wanted to avoid as well.
Gotcha. What's up, Carla? So like working from home, it's a newer concept for a lot of people, right? Like especially what's happening now, like a lot of people are shifting to it.
Yeah.
So like what tips would you give to someone who like is working from home? Obviously the phone one's a great one, but like other ways they can like spend their day. Like what do you do like in a normal day?
Sure. So, a lot of my day right now is calls and managing contractors, and I'm doing, I do a lot of outreach. One of my principles for working from home is, for me personally, has been 25. Has been always measuring myself. I measure my time in an Excel spreadsheet to the minute. And I put an asterisk next to each activity that is a revenue generating activity. What I found was that working from home, it's very easy to get distracted and focus on random activities such as research or scrolling or learning things, but not actually doing stuff that will generate you revenues. And in my business of affiliate marketing, that activity that generates revenues has always been posting it's been posting ads. So I'll make sure I post at least one ad campaign every single day. And I stuck to that. I stuck to that for a long time. Now what I do is sort of a modification of that, but I measure myself and I reach out to 25 people, 25 people a day, because I'm looking to hire a CTO and I need good referrals to really hire the right person. So I reach out to 25 people per day that I believe may be able to point me in the right direction of a good CTO. And even when I started my affiliate program, I'd reach out to 25 affiliates a day. And I think 25 a day of really anything, any sort of outreach is a good way to build any business.
Gotcha. Have you read the book The Time Cleanse by any chance?
No.
Okay. It talks a lot about that. Those principles. It talks about more about time performance and management and like, knowing where the highest buckets of your life, like things you need to focus on. If something doesn't fit into that, then you have to like cut it out. So I've been geeking out on that lately.
Nice.
And that's so true, man. Like consistency, like it doesn't matter what you do, whether it's like you're learning an instrument, like if you don't do it every day, like, you're not gonna get at it. So like doing a campaign every day, I did not know you did that. And your average campaign is like probably like $1,000 or something.
Well, a campaign can be like $20, but when I think of an advertising campaign, because that's really where I made it in life, and I got my first money. Obviously everything's a bit different once you start accumulating money, because you can hire people, you can outsource stuff more easily, yada yada. But a campaign to me was setting up, was doing research, finding good ads that I could copy or model my own after. It was finding good affiliate offers to promote and rotate and test. It was, setting up a landing page and finding something that I could, basically, base my own landing page off of, and then setting up those ads on a particular advertising network, such as, Google, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, et cetera. So all of that work combined, typically took me about 8 hours. And, I teach this now, and it typically takes my students about 8 hours, 300 some clicks to figure, to do all of this. So yeah, I said I should put up one campaign a day. Otherwise I would just, I'd get lost in, answering emails and responding to Skypes and all this other stuff. And then I wouldn't be in control of my time. I would be allowing somebody else to. So that's why I said I need one campaign a day, every single day. And for years, whenever I'd go into, a dip in terms of revenues for myself or my company, I would go back to that, and I would just say, okay, I'm setting up one campaign every day. And that got me out of every single funk, revenue wise, that I was ever in, just going back and really being hardcore about getting one thing accomplished that was revenue generating each day. And not all campaigns worked, but if you set one up a day for a month, then I always got stuff working.
Yeah,
because
that's powerful. Is having that anchor, like always making sure you're not drifting away from like the thing that's most important, and like just being proactive versus reactive. Like it's hard. Like I always try to think about that. Like, am I being reactive like for the past hour, or am I like being proactive? So someone actually, this is from Facebook user. I watched John on CoffeeZilla the other day, and it was the first time I saw him. He did a good job of getting coffee on his side. So, did you enjoy that? If you guys don't know, CoffeeZilla is a YouTuber, and he talks about a lot of people. And he debated John, and he did a good job, man. So.
Yeah, I really like CoffeeZilla and what he does. I think there are certain, obviously I could critique certain aspects of, what he advocates to people and whatnot. But no, I think that this whole movement for like anti-gurus or guru hunters, whatever the term is, and I'll ask the audience, what do you think is a better term, anti-gurus or guru hunters?
I've never heard guru hunter. I don't like that.
Guru. But basically, I think I think they do a really good job of bringing transparency and a conversation to a very non-transparent industry. Yeah. And I think it's great because it's from what I've been seeing, and I know a lot of these folks firsthand. It's really smoking out a lot of the fake gurus. It's really smoking because the fact of the matter is, when you shine light on it's like when you shine light on a cockroach, it runs away. And there are unfortunately, a lot of people who are very good at marketing, but don't really care about their customers. They know how to make funnels. They know how to write webinars that convert. They know how to write video sales letters. And they don't really care about teaching people. They don't care about success rates. They don't care about the education.
No accountability.
Experience.
Like just literally, nothing. Like there's no one stopping them, or if they're doing bad. Like I think we live in a world now where people can take their phone out and they're the reporter now, and they can record something, and then it just doesn't go under the rug, right? So people can speak up about things.
And it's so easy
negative
to
cancel culture, but there is some positives. But
yeah. I believe it just makes, I think unfortunately some people that watch CoffeeZilla think that all online education is bad and you shouldn't charge anything more than $10 for it. But, the reality is that, for me, this is super clear, right? I'm like a big sci-fi person. I'm always thinking of the future. For me, it's super clear that the future of education, it's not in some like big like Greek stone temple looking like campus in Boston. It's
You made
It's
this sound
online. It's 80% online. It's just inconvenient to have to pay $100,000 or possibly go, likely go into debt, move across the country, drive, but pay rent that you can't afford because you can't get a job. It just, the whole concept of seems a little silly unless you're in the upper middle or upper classes, to me. So I just believe that quality education needs to go online, and the people teach, and that also education goes back from a institutional level, because right now people get a degree from Harvard, but nobody learns from Harvard. People learn from the teachers that Harvard hires. So the most important thing is actually, I believe, the teacher, the individual teacher, and individual teachers should be rewarded. I mean, most teachers are paid nothing. So creating a kind of, creating an ecosystem for celebrity teachers to evolve, just like celebrity athletes or acting celebrities or music celebrities. I believe celebrity teachers is a really good, positive new thing that
good job at that
in the market.
Yeah, Masterclass is getting a lot of celebrities to teach things they're good at.
They're great.
Hans Zimmer was in there. Yeah. What's up, Blake? Blake Newbar's here, and a few other people.
What's up, Blake? Hey,
dude,
man.
Blake's actually, I think he's in the hospital right now. Hope you're doing well, bro.
Okay.
He had appendicitis. I was talking to him last night and he was fine, and then he has appendicitis. He's in the hospital. So just circling back really quick, I feel like when you have a lot of attention, there also comes kind of that hate.
Oh my God. Yeah.
What do you obviously having a flip phone helps. But yeah, does it ever bug you? Are you ever exposed to it a lot? Does it ever hit you at all, or?
Yeah, it bugs me somewhat. I mean, it's annoying for sure, but at the end of the day, I mean, I really believe that, I see the people that I'm helping. I see people all over the world. I mean, I also get written in daily from people that, made their first dollars, and, they made their first money marketing products online, and it's the most exciting thing, and they're over the moon, and they're just
everyone remembers that. They don't never forget that.
You never forget the first money you make online. It's just it's weird. And for me, I was at work. I checked in the middle of the day, and it was boom, I'd made $100 some, and I was just I've been here at work all day, and somehow this side income, another $100 just appeared. I was like, what? And sparking, I try to focus on the positive elements, and the fact that, one of my missions with being a teacher was really helping convey that feeling when you get your first online commission, when you realize it's possible, when you realize that you could be anywhere in the world and make this money, when you realize, because for me, travel was a big thing, why I started an internet business, but also, when you realize that, wow, this money was detached from my time. When you make money where the amount of time you spend to make that money is not linked, you realize that the sky's the limit. And I believe it helps people become better people when you realize that you are not a time slave. I believe anybody, what?
Money is time too. The more money you have, essentially the more time you have to do the things you want. And so it goes full circle.
Yeah, you can pay your bills, and you get to a certain
you can get
point
somewhere faster, you can hire mentors, you can just, kind of invest in the things you need to. Actually, I have one question after this, actually. So Facebook user asked, Jesse actually, what programs does John in the education arena have?
Here, let me show you.
Are you gonna get the money gun?
No. So here, So here's one of the programs I'm going through right now, which is Raising Cooperative and Self-Confident Children. It's by Francine Beauvoir. And, she's a mentee of another person that I follow that's been amazing for, helping me in my relationship with my wife, which is Harville Hendricks, Harville Hendricks, like Jimmy. So, which is called Getting the Love You Want. That's another book. So, I'm always studying stuff like that. In this case, I'm trying to learn how to be a better father and raise my children better. So I don't, I pass along the good of me, not the bad. And then also what I do right now is I also, in terms of business, I'm constantly watching interviews, long form, boring, super boring, 2-hour long interviews. And I specifically target people who are 2 to 3 levels above me in terms of business. So, in my case, business being measured by money, at a 7-figure net worth, I basically look at people who are at at the very least an 8, but usually a 9-figure net worth in a somewhat related space to me, or that have some sort of skill that can help me. So I've been watching a lot of interviews recently about hiring a CTO or finding a partner, about developing about product strategy. And even within those sorts of interviews, I specifically look at early interviews of those folks. So like the golden interviews I find would be, like, an example would be, like, right now my company is doing, 7 figures a year. So I would want to find, let's say, Airbnb founder, right? Brian Chesky, non-technical founder of an internet business. I'd want to find an interview of him from when he was doing 7 figures, from when their business was not doing $1 billion a year. So I'd rather hear an interview of him in 2013 than I'd rather hear an interview of him today. So those are hard to find.
Yeah, like when you see that interview that Jeff Bezos did when he was driving his Honda, when he had Amazon on the cardboard on his wall, and he was still like the same person. It's like
perfect.
You learn a lot from that. Do you watch Steve Jobs interviews at all? Steve Jobs?
Not that much. I've watched some of his. I actually take I take inspiration from him because he's also, I think people argue this point,
he's
but
not like
would I be considered a non-technical founder? And he's very focused. He's very. What?
He didn't write any code. He's not.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So, his superpower is being obsessed with the customer and figuring out what the customer's problems are and what is a simple solution to solve most of them. And I really believe as marketers that, the greatest superpower is not getting better at marketing. Marketing in my mind is a fairly easy skill. What is hard and what is something you can always improve at is being better at creating good products that solve people's problems. So that's, I've taken a lot of inspiration from him there, and he really thought outside the box, from a really customer centric point of view.
Yeah. It's more being inventive.
Yeah.
I was actually last night watching a documentary about Nikola Tesla, man, like someone who's literally built like the radio, like light bulbs, like everything, man, like X-rays, like, and kind of his way of thinking. He's actually everything in his mind he imagined before he built it. He would know if something worked or not just by thinking about it. And it was pretty powerful. Yeah. So I'm curious, like I want to dive a little bit into content.
Yeah.
Like social media. So what is, you do a lot of content. Like, what do you have in mind when you're like formatting, when you're looking at hooks or like something that, because obviously content's meant to make people click, right? Like, what are your go-to things for making sure something you think is going to hit on mainly YouTube, because I think that's your biggest one medium, right?
Sure. So for me, it's I already know, what's going to hit, and that is I have to show a method from A to Z of how to make money online. For instance, the video I released today was how to make money on Skype. And, so I show people kind of how to use a free tool like Skype, free marketing, sending messages. And I'm going to show them how to promote affiliate products through Skype. But I walk people through, I think there's like 23 steps. I showing people everywhere from signing up to the affiliate network to how to find people to message on Skype to some extra tips to messaging people, to what to write in the message, to how to format the link. All of that stuff is what I know. I know that's what my audience wants. They want a method A to Z.
Yeah. Gotcha. For like what's working out for you, man, with social? Like, what do you see like are levers are pulling to get more attention? Is it just still organic? Are you doing anything? Because I know you were doing some collaborations with influencers before. Like, anything unique or special going on?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's really I talk, all the basic stuff. I'm not going to reiterate, which is post every day, post consistently, don't miss an upload day, have your editing cool, make sure you analyze your kind of like your watch time graphs and, figure out when people are falling off and why people were falling off during that point in your video, and edit it better edit your videos better next time, or understand when the audience is falling off. I mean, all that is kind of basics of doing YouTube and fairly standard. I guess what I've seen is, I realized a little bit about this time last year, or maybe like 9 months ago, I realized that I was looking at these guys like Dan Locke and Kevin David and Brandon Burchard, who had like, Tylo million followers. And I was like, I was watching what types of videos those guys did. I was watching what level of research they put in to compete at that level where they have 1 million followers in the business niche. And I just said, YouTube, it isn't a thing that makes me any money. My business, at YouTube is a small, the advertising revenues, and even like the amount of people that even buy courses from me from YouTube, my organic videos at least, are just very minuscule. So I said, okay, well, how do I, I realized I was starting to hate doing YouTube videos. I was like, this is a drag, right? It's just a suck of my time. And, I'd made a commitment to do a video every day for the year, but I was like, I don't go back on my commitments. And how do I make this into something, because I hate losing, and I don't want to compete against Dan Locke and Kevin David and not be able to get to 1 million subs. So then I started thinking, okay, well, what could make it worth it? And what I kind of came to was, I said, well, I will, if I teach people, instead of just teaching people random marketing concepts, I'll teach people to promote my product. So, if my average video gets 10,000 views instead of 100,000 views like Dan Locke does, then that's fine, because instead of trying to instead of trying to impress a bunch of people and be like, hey, I know marketing, like buy my course. I'm just going to flip it around. And if I have people selling my course, if I teach people how to market my course, then that's a huge benefit for me. That's a much bigger benefit, and that's a lot more leverage. So I started doing that, and people, so my goal is not to like, I'm not like, I want to get to 500,000 subscribers on YouTube or 1 million. I don't really care. I just want more people taking action from my videos and putting in use my methods. And by reframing my strategy to really, now I only care about being the top affiliate marketing YouTuber, which I am now. By reframing the discussion to focusing on helping people sell my product, I've created so much more success. I mean, there's a lot, and I've also created a lot more a lot more of an engine for myself. It's kind of like a flywheel. I mean, I've over 20,000 people that promote my products each month. And,
You're building an army,
it's
dude. Like you can go to war with that, dude.
yeah, I know. It's a freaking army. And what's cool is that, like, in the past, the people that would, because YouTube is such a worldwide sort of thing, I'm getting success stories from like Kenya, like some like dude who's like 16-year-old kid in Kenya made like $2,000 applying my tactics, which is like, I don't know, it's like a year's salary over there or something like that. He made it in a week. So, just stuff like that going on is like, it almost makes me pinch myself, because I'm like, I don't even realize the effect that this is having. But $2,000 in Kenya is like, you're like a king, Yeah. Like a lot of people in Kenya, I was looking it up, they still use barter economy out there for lots of stuff. Like, I'll give you like 100 yams and you give me a goat sort of stuff. So, I mean, like, so if you have 2,000 US dollars, it's just, so I think it's really cool. And I flipped it, but I believe YouTube is a really powerful
for you. So
audience. I mean, I think it's, So, and that's kind of,
it's definitely evergreen. It has a lot of reach, which is nice. Because a lot of these, I like Patrick Bet David, but it would be difficult. Like he puts a lot of thought into his like videos.
Yeah, those guys are, that's the thing, is like a lot of these other guys, Dan Locke, Kevin David, all these guys, they Graham Stephan, they script out their videos, Big Mark, all the guys that are at $1 million in the business niche, they're working completely off of scripts, and they have really sick copywriters. So I just wasn't willing to like build much more of an organization around something that just wasn't my core revenue source. That being said, I am hiring, or I have hired a copywriter, a really good one. And part of what he's going to be doing is writing some scripts for videos, just to see if that makes sense for me to do.
Gotcha. What are some running an online business? Obviously, you run a big one. Do you still not have anybody on your team? Like I remember I
don't have any full-time employees. I mean, I don't have any full-time employees, like technically employees. I'm working with like 9 contractors right now. But yeah, I don't have any like actual employees, but there are a lot of people that, we have a lot of affiliates that all they do is focus on selling my product. We have a lot of other partners who, I'm the majority revenue source for, their company for whatever reason. So, we touch a lot of things, but I've tried to keep it really lean, because I think employees and having like, basically, I think things should be, you should never get stuck in a toxic relationship, and everything should be process driven. And I think hiring contractors really encourages a business to be lean and process driven.
Yeah, it fits your skills and strengths. Because I don't think you want to be building like process.
Yeah, and I'm not good at, like management was never like my forte. So I always, each year another commitment I've made to myself the last couple years was, I'm not going to hire anybody, because, what always happens, I mean, I'm good at marketing. I'm able to, when I start a business or start a marketing campaign, eventually I start making money. But the issue is I screw myself up, because then I start being like, oh, I have this extra money. I'm going to hire a data scientist. That sounds cool. I'm going to hire a video guy. I'm going to hire this. And then suddenly I'm sucked into like training, or I'm sucked into like, John, can you buy an SD card for me? Like, can you run to the store and buy an SD card? Whereas, let's say I'm hiring a video guy, as a contractor, they bring their own camera, they bring their own SD cards. They're not saying, "Hey, Daddy, you know, can I get your wallet?"
So it's like, yeah, yeah. So you can always like, gotcha, and it's performance based, which is nice.
It's either performance. I mean, you know, a number of my guys are on, you know, a lot of my guys are on hourly wages. Some others are on performance. Yeah, it depends on whether they're working on kind of like product or support. Those are mostly, you know, salary or wage, I mean, and versus marketing, which, you know, I believe should always marketing or sales, you know, it should be performance.
Gotcha. We have a bunch of people here, so if you guys are here, give me live, ask John some questions while he's here. You can ask him what beard product he uses to keep it so nice. So what are like the most important numbers you follow, or you think anyone should follow in their business? You could share with what you follow every day. Yeah, like what are the numbers you look at, like as far as diagnosing, like your business?
Bank account, bank balance.
Yeah, bank is great. Like that's a great number.
Yeah, I mean
more like
yep.
for growth, right? Other than cash, right? Well, I mean, ignore cash.
I mean, I think so. So you can't always affect like top line numbers, right? It's like you can't affect profits. So it's like, why look at them? But you can affect things that affect profits. So an example of that is like with my CTO search, I measure myself. Am I doing 25? Am I reaching out to at least 10 people every day? Because I can control myself. I can't control like profit numbers. You know, obviously I look at ROI from ads, you know, it fluctuates. So, you know, that's important to keep in mind. I'm always looking at my costs, and I'm just, you know, going through my credit card statements and I'm saying, okay, what can I get rid of? I'm looking at
like stay lean.
I'm looking at contractors. I'm seeing if I can get better deals other places. I'm, you know, really, I'm always looking to reduce costs, and I'm all. Then in terms of, you know, the big thing I'm working on right now is my TV infomercial, which we started airing last year. We've been testing this entire year, just testing new versions of this TV infomercial. And we're going to go live like full time. We've got our numbers down in on my birthday, July 9th. So, you know, the number I look at there is I kind of look at what is my cost per order, because I know I have to hit a certain cost per order to make it all worthwhile. And I've already talked to all of my competitors who have been in this industry. So I already know what cost per order they were profitable at and how much money they expect to make from each customer and exactly where those revenue sources are and what the costs are. So, I mean, before I even get into a business, I want to know every single number behind the scenes of how it all works. I mean, I need to know everything. And I mean, information is fairly easy to find. You can talk to people, you can test your own ads and figure it out. You can run a competitor's ad, do a dry run. I could just, you know, and test it out. You can't always do that on TV, but you can offer to pay people, generous consulting fees that work at competing companies that likely have, you know, a non-equity position, that have a non-equity position. And, you know, if you offer somebody $500 an hour who only makes $50 an hour, you know, for you give them $500 for an hour of their time, oftentimes you hit up a couple competitors, you'll get somebody to speak to you, and you get all their numbers, and you just get data. Then you backwards engineer the business, and that may sound brutal. There's nothing illegal about it, though, and that's just business. And you know what? Why wouldn't you walk in with an advantage if you could?
You're just playing chess, man. You're just playing chess.
Yeah, it's business is a game, and it's a game anyone can win at if they just focus on putting the odds in their favor.
Nice. Tyler said he loved the interview on your show. I don't know if you remember Tyler from Biz Ninja. Best takeaway was to identify your competitors and dissect what they were doing to win. And he said this like 5 minutes ago, dude.
Yeah.
So, there's some telepathy going on here. Cool. So if you guys have any questions, drop them below. I'm gonna head to rapid fire real quick. Those are my favorites just to wrap up the show. So yeah, I'm gonna see if anybody drops any questions.
Here. And I'll add in, because Tyler brought up the like dissecting your competitors things. I'll add in one other like pro tip. Like, this is what I found is actually the most effective thing in figuring out your competitors' businesses, and just, you know, brain draining or whatever you want to do, is go to conferences, go to meetups, go to masterminds. I mean, I think conferences are the best, or some sort of mastermind.
Maybe in 2021, but yeah.
And yeah. I mean, in 2020, but basically go out to Vegas, you know, and I'd say look at, you know, do research on who you want, like what people of your competitors are going out there, right? Follow them on Twitter, follow them on Instagram, follow them on Facebook. They'll say, oh, I'm going out to this conference. And you'll be like, okay, I know, you know, my competitor from, you know, whatever, whatever, XYZ company is going to be there, and hang out with them, bump into them, buy them a drink, meet, you know, have fun, you know, go do fun stuff, you know, have 2 or 3 drinks. And you can get so much information so easily at conferences that is so invaluable after a few drinks. It allows you to play business at just a unfair advantage. You're walking in already knowing the finish line, and I believe that also helps me with visualization, because I know exactly what steps I need to take to get to, you know, the desired solution. In my case, you know, I need to become a $25 to $50 million a year company. So the people I'm talking to are people that work at these other companies in my space that are $25 to $50 million a year.
Gotcha. Just pray that they're not Mormon and they don't drink. Okay.
It's not always true, but yeah.
Yeah. They're actually, then they're not Mormon, man. They're cheating. John says great stuff. Tyler said, pretty much saying what he meant. Carlos says thanks. Okay, we can hop into rapid fire here. Oh, actually, one quick question John asked. It's probably simple. What do you suggest between editing your own videos or outsourcing?
If you can edit your own videos, I think that could be good in the beginning. Because what you really want to focus on is you look at the watch time graph on YouTube, and you can see where people have a tendency to click off of your video. It's called a retention graph. So when you know that, you know, your video got viewed 100 times and people started falling off when you talked about this subject, but people really liked when you talked about this subject, you can really be hands-on in the beginning when you're starting to get your style and your flow down, and really analyze things, you know, as a manual process as possible. Now, once you start doing YouTube more regularly, and you know you need, I don't know, maybe just want more time for yourself, I'd suggest hiring an editor in the Philippines. You know, Filipinos speak English. America used to own the Philippines, so you know a lot of them are English speaking, and they, you know, you can have a video edited for, you know, I think it's like a couple hours, you know, 4 or 5 hours at a couple bucks an hour is, you know, $15-20 is basically you can have your YouTube videos edited for, and you can just measure that against what the opportunity cost of your time is to determine when it's the right time.
Yeah, definitely. Like watch time, like in podcasts, we look at consumption rate, and then know like where their drop offs, like, hey, that intro was too long, or hey.
And I want to give first off, I want to give a shout out to you, Daxi, because you guys built them up. You know, I'm surprised you didn't even mention this, but you guys built up my podcast like amazingly. I did not. For everyone watching, I didn't have a podcast before I met these guys, and these guys helped me frame everything, saved me a bunch of time, helped me as you can see, I'm insane about being efficient about my time. These guys helped me be unbelievably efficient about my time in putting together these podcasts so that it wasn't a burden on me. And it's gotten a lot of growth out there, and it's helped my business a ton, because part of the thing in being a teacher is that, I have my advertisements on TV, on YouTube, on Facebook, etc. And people see just kind of like this one side of me, like kind of like the salesperson, helping motivate people out of their kind of skepticism and societal conditioning to actually work for themselves and make real money. And the podcast helps humanize me. It helps show like, yes, I'm a real person. Yes, yes, I can get very like motivational and like salesy, but at the end of the day, I'm a real person just like everyone else. And you guys really helped me. It helped me convey that, I think podcast and just long form content. I mean, I told you, I'm a huge fan of interviews, just helping me get in that space and have real conversations with real people and like long discussions, not just like some like 5-minute, 4 tips on how to make money, has been great. And it's really been great for my brand, and it's been great for my business. So I just want to thank you guys a lot.
Dude,
you guys are rock stars.
It's easy because like you say good stuff. And we live in a world now where a trend I noticed is, having a personality is way more important now if you are building a brand online, because that has longer staying power. Like that's why a lot of like celebrities and stuff don't really go anywhere, because people watching for their personality, like they just want to see what they think about things, right? Or their views. So the more you can kind of like get people to like your personality, like the less they'll forget about you. This made me laugh actually. Tim said, how to do a double take. I thought you were interviewing Ron Swanson.
What?
So
who's Ron? Ron Swanson, the guy from Anchorman?
Wait, I believe that is him. I could share.
Okay. Yeah, it's that guy with the big mustache on Anchorman. That's fucking fun. That's funny.
I mean, let me just compare.
Quick. Parks and Recreation. He's this guy with a big mustache in Parks and Rec. Okay, I see.
Wait, he doesn't have a beard though. This is not accurate.
Yeah. That doesn't work out. No beard.
But you're almost there. Stop sharing.
That's funny.
Okay. So Tyler asked a question. Everyone's saying thanks. Tyler asked if this is an interesting one, and honestly, I think Tyler's just being a business ninja here and just trying to steal your idea. But he asked, if you had to make 100K this weekend, what would you do?
100K in a weekend. Oh man, that goes on some like borderline stuff, because you can really get into social. I mean, like you're gonna have to do some social engineering.
Legal.
Like yeah, I mean you can do it legally, but it's at the end of the day, 100K in a weekend. I would. Man, I don't. I mean you. I would basically, I mean, it's going to have to involve something with retirement accounts. You're going to have to get you're going to have to convince somebody that their money isn't safe in their retirement account and they need to transfer it over to you to manage. That's.
I hope nobody does that. But
yeah, I mean that's legal. It's legal. I'm not saying it's not it's illegal, but that's it's not ethical. It might be. I mean, it's ethical if you have an if you actually have something good to offer, but I don't think it's ethical. That would be the easiest way.
100 people.
100 people. No, if you have to make if you have to make $100,000. You're not going to set up a mastermind and market it and get 1,000 or 100 customers in that fast. And ads take time for approval. Ads are not in your control.
Yeah, you have a big audience, maybe, but if you're an average Joe, like no.
Yeah. Basically, you'd have to hire a notary public. You'd have to talk to a notary public to get that. Make sure you get all these documents. you print out some documents, you get transferred. You'd have to really walk somebody through the wire process, get it notarized, show up at their house. And it's possible, but it's slimy. I know guys who have done that too.
Maybe that'll be a good YouTube video. How to make 100K.
No, I'm not. I'm never doing a YouTube video on that. It's not ethical.
It's too much. 100K.
Yeah. I have a friend, I would say I have an acquaintance who runs a $250 million a year company. He owns it. He's 28 years old.
Do you know if people are just behind the scenes, like nobody knows who he is, or?
He's been sued by numerous federal agencies. He paid his way out of it. He has Vice articles. He has some exposés on him, but I'm not going to. But basically, they make $250 million. They do retirement accounts, and it's so yeah.
Is it an investment, capital investment?
Yeah, I mean, basically, they have a sales team that just that calls people up, tells them that the world is collapsing, that for whatever reason, and they'll cite some stuff from Fox. They'll use some stories from Fox News as the bait. They call people up and literally just cold call old Republicans up, middle America, tell them the world's collapsing and they need to get their money out of the stock market, which is owned by Democrats, and into, other alternative investments. And they make a very large rip on each sale. And, I don't really agree with, it's not illegal. I don't really, it is, I think there is some social engineering involved. But yeah, I mean, that's what I would do. I don't like that answer though. So again, I would suggest, you can make any number of money you want, but I would suggest think first, how can I add value to people? How can I add value to people's day? Yeah, that's the best.
I don't know if it's normal, but me, whenever I do something, one of the top things I think about is my reputation. Because reputation is hard to get back. Like if you're blackballed at something, it just feels bad, man. I don't like people to feel bad about me. So that's something I consider. I don't know if some people don't consider that. I don't know.
And actually, this goes to an interesting story. Is when I was starting out, when I was in 2012, when I was working for an ad agency, I had all these clients on the side I was managing ads for. And I was managing their ads for $500. I was getting paid $6,000 a month at my job, and I was getting, I had 6 clients that were paying me $500 a month. And it's the issue was though, I had 8 clients that were paying me $500 a month. And the issue was managing a job, full-time job, 9 hours a day, and 8 clients on the side for $500 a month. I was making $10K a month at, whatever it was, 22, 23, but it sucks the life out of you. And I never had any time to do anything else or improve myself. And what I realized, I spoke with a mentor, and what they said is, they said, how much, why don't you just get one client that pays you $10,000 a month? And I said, what? What? How do I do that? I said, I'm barely getting these $500 a month deals. He said, figure it out. And, I figured it out. I basically realized, because I think the easiest way to make a certain amount of money is find a way to do it one off, one ad campaign makes you $1 million. Or if you want to make $1 million, find one niche that will make you $1 million. If you want to make, find deals, where you can get a deal that's $1 million. So instead of I changed my mindset from thinking, okay, in order to quit my job, I need 20 clients that pay me $500 a month. I changed my mindset to thinking, okay, I need to quit my job, I need one client that pays me $10,000 a month. That's and yeah. I flipped it. So I thought, okay, how do I get one deal? Which is kind of what I recommended to Tyler in that earlier thing, but one deal. So what I had to do differently was, instead of going on Elance and Upwork.com and Guru.com and kind of, really bottom feeding off of these deals where people were, only willing to pay $500 a month. Everybody else was hiring, people in India for like $100 a month to manage their ads. I started going out in public and going networking. And I found my first client. I was hanging out the hotel bar or the lounge upstairs on the second floor of the Roosevelt Hotel in Hollywood. And there's like a bowling alley up there. It's all kind of like mahogany wood and like kind of dark, kind of cool, loungy, very rich, right? Like very rich business travelers there. Like rooms at this place start at like $500 a night. So you're getting travelers in Hollywood who have a lot of money. And I met some really interesting business people there who had very substantial businesses. And $10,000 a month was a drop in the bucket. And I was very good at what I did. So, I showed them the proof of what I've done and my results, working at my company. And they were like, they started paying me. And in fact, I ended up getting 2 clients for $10,000 a month. And my boss was so freaked out that I quit without he thought I was going to steal all of his clients. He continued to pay my $6,000 a month salary. So all of a sudden I went, and that's how I was able to get enough runway to quit my job. Is I was making, suddenly I went from making $10,000 a month to $30,000 a month. And the rest is history,
That's it's pretty I think naturally we all have a ceiling on how much we charge, and I think having that exercise of like, what do I need to do to charge this much is just a good exercise to do.
Dude, it's so true. Like, right, 500 a month versus a 10,000 a month. 20
you normally do, you're in a box.
It's just you're talking to different people. Whereas before I was talking to like a tutoring company in New Jersey, now I'm talking to, investment companies in, the US, or I'm talking to, large tech companies in the US. So it's just, it's totally mental. It's all mental. And, everything's fucking mental.
Yeah, I'm even getting some ideas now for some things now. Like just you saying that gives me some ideas. And in person is like definitely when you can actually feel the energy, and like I think you can make a really good impression to someone, right? If you're trying to sell that. We got a lot of comments actually. Someone asked how do you feel about the crypto market, but I'm not gonna ask you that.
Municipal bonds. That's what I'll say. Municipal bonds.
There you go.
That's where all my money is. I put it in munis.
Clip it.
Tax write-off.
I didn't know. And like, I'm not even like, I don't know. My mind.
Municipal bonds are like boring, like government issued bonds from like cities and counties and states that pay 2.5%. And so when everybody else actually, when the stock market went down 30%, my entire portfolio went down 2%. So I didn't feel any of the effects of all of this like COVID scare, at least from the markets. I just keep a really safe investment strategy because my business is so, variable and high risk.
Good. Networking. What did he say? John Crestani, never be bottom feeder or truth bomb. Okay, cool. Eric says good stuff. Appreciate it, guys. Appreciate all the comments. I know John has a lot of money to make, so I'm just going to go through the rapid fire here. Some fun questions. Okay, so these are meant to be fast, man. So like,
okay, let's go. Here, I'm leaning back. I'm a little too comfortable. Okay.
Yeah, let's go. All right, you got a Red Bull. All right. Who is your biggest mentor, and what's the number one thing he taught you?
Sorry, cut up.
Hello, can you hear me?
Who's my biggest mentor and what?
And the number one thing he taught you.
Biggest mentor, number one thing he taught me. I mean, I would say my father, and I'll give another answer other than that, but I'd say my father, and he taught me hard work.
Yeah.
Hard work. I've been working. Before I graduated college, I did 7 different corporate internships in addition to 5 different jobs in addition to multiple long stints volunteering at, old folks' homes. I volunteered at this place called Sunrise Assisted Living. It's kind of a chain of that assists people with kind of like dementia or Alzheimer's specifically. And just learning to do hard work. Again, 7 internships. I learned more from the 7 different internships. I'm talking real estate investment. I'm talking real estate brokerage, investment company, concert company, I all these different, ad agency. I had more experience from 7 different internships before I graduated college, or before I got out of college, than anything else in figuring out my path in life. Also, I was just, working jobs, making money. I always had more money than, many of my peers because I was just working, like not everybody was working.
We're going to pause the rapid fire real quick.
Sorry.
Because that actually brought something up. And I thought, actually, I think we have the real answer. Curtis says, is your beard the source of your power? Oh, you literally almost made him spit out his drink. Good one.
I know. I'm drinking my tea. Yeah, no. Dude, I love my beard. It's like a little sweater for your face.
Oh, true. Yeah. Apparently it's
crumb
like
catcher.
For, I forget what it's good for. Something with hygiene.
No, all the crumbs get caught there, bro.
Oh, okay. But yeah, like it's interesting now. Like I see people selling and interested, like who are coming up in the space, like in investing. And to me, like investing doesn't come until like you do a lot of hard work, you have a lot of money, and like people focus more on that piece of making money rather than like the working to make money. And it's just weird how that's a trend now. I don't know if you noticed that.
So here's my thoughts on it. One is, I think if you have a high risk business, which is if you're an entrepreneur and you're working on commission only, like I am, my business may do, $1 million one month. It may do $500,000 the next month. Then it may go, up, it can fluctuate wildly. So because I have what's called a high risk, like inconsistent business, I keep my investment strategy super low risk, right? It doesn't make sense for me to like have like a really crazy, variable business income and have like be investing in cryptos. Like that's just nuts. That is absolutely crazy. And that's what a lot of entrepreneurs do. And I see so many guys just go broke and they lose all their money. They think they're like, they think they have the Midas touch in everything. But the opposite can be also true. Is I believe if somebody has a salary and you're making a cool whatever $10,000 a month, you're a senior account executive at some at some whatever agency, and you want to work a job because being an entrepreneur isn't for everyone. If your salary stable that freaking get good at investing, learn how to day trade and make a 10, 15, 20% rip in a day because you have some specific criteria. I mean, that could be a great, I think it's great for people who have super stable incomes, that are reliable to do a high risk investment strategy. I mean, that sounds cool to me. I don't know. So that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah. Shane says a good point. Good point. The guy who said your beard's amazing.
Thanks.
All right. Back to, got my guns out.
I'll go faster.
What do they call that in the Wild West? Like a showdown or something? I don't know. Okay, so what's your spirit animal?
I don't know. Wolf.
Wolf. I knew it. I knew you were gonna say that.
Yeah, I think it works.
Well, what's something you used to believe 3 to 5 years ago that you no longer believe today?
Something I believed 3 to 5 years ago. I believed everybody, everybody, no matter upbringing or culture or whatever, is good. I believe everybody is born good. But I mean, and I've always, I've traveled to like 50 different countries, and I've never been worried. Some people worry, but I just always believe everybody's good. So I would walk through places, and I wouldn't be worried about my safety, because I figured at the end of the day, there's no logical reason to kidnap or hurt me or kill me or whatever. So I loved meeting people. I still love meeting people, but I went on a trip to Egypt, unfortunately, and I was so excited. Egypt.
Yeah, it's rough there.
And I just come from Morocco, which is a great country, great people, great country, great cuisine, great art, great mosaics, great, everything, furniture, lights. Egypt was a whole different situation. And I believe, and both are Muslim countries, but Egypt, again, I think it doesn't have to do with, purely with religion. It's
right in Egypt.
What?
It's overpopulated a little bit.
It's way overpopulated. I got stolen from there, blackmail, but it's not just what people said. It's people have been conditioned to have such a negative outlook on life, it seemed. And people, I think one really sad thing is the Muslims that live in Egypt, at least. I know there's like different sects, or types of Muslim all over, but most of the people seem to believe that they couldn't have sex until they were married. But then the problem with the overpopulation and you couldn't have sex until you're married. You couldn't get married until you had your own a condo or home that you owned. And then there's this other problem, which is there's like, new buildings couldn't go up because of corruption, and like, there was overpopulation and there's a lot of corruption. So you had all these like, there just seemed to be a lot of angry people. So nobody could have sex, I don't know. It just like, I just sensed a lot of sadness and anger out there that I've never experienced before. And there's a lot of, hate directed at me, but I know it wasn't actually directed at me. I know it was directed at themselves. They weren't hating me. They were hating themselves for whatever reason. But it was a really negative situation dealing with a lot of the people out there. And I know Egyptians out in America, which are great, but in Egypt, it was just
which part? Like, was it near like the Giza, or?
I went all over. I went all the way down to basically from. I didn't go to Alexandria, but I went down the Nile from Cairo, basically down to Nubia, or wherever the Sudan, close to Sudan.
Gotcha. Yeah, you don't. Yeah, I guess you can see nice pictures of Egypt. You don't think it's like, but I guess it sounds like the culture is pretty toxic.
It's really toxic.
Okay. Egypt was on my bucket list, man.
I mean, dude, the pyramids are great, but dealing with anything else or the people or anything is just, it's
try to blend in and like be a local, wear crappy clothes, like maybe they won't notice.
Dude, I'm talking like I was with my backpack. I went in a taxi and the guy said that I needed to pay him $300 or else he wasn't going to let my backpack out of the trunk.
Wow.
Yeah, stuff like that.
You probably saw your white skin, and he's like, "Oh, it's a tourist, a foreigner." Yeah.
I think there's some sort of thing like if you're not Muslim, and I'm not saying all Muslims think this, but like whatever, we're like there's like a kind of like a caste system. Like we're not as human, or like we don't mean as much if we're not in their religion. So that was the sense. That was from my understanding. Again, I don't have a full understanding of things, but basically, like your life doesn't matter as much. Like if it involves me stealing from you or killing you or hurting you or whatever to get money to help my family, well, my family matters more because they're, my people, and you're not part of that. So it's justified. because you're not, you know, people threw rocks at, you know, me and, you know, who I was with, you know, they would throw rocks at us, you know, and I don't know. It just, and this is all over. This is not just one place. You know, I was stolen from two times, blackmailed twice. These are all separate. I mean, it was, and I never experienced anything like that before. And I've been in some really poor countries.
I've gotten my wallet and phone stolen in Bangkok.
Yeah.
Maybe my
that's because you weren't watching it close enough, bro. You have to put it in your front pocket.
Yeah, maybe my fault that it was actually the only time I ever blacked out in my life. So
bro, that's your fault. If you're blacked out, don't blame the Thai people for getting blackout drunk and losing your phone, your wallet.
If I can't tell you're stealing my wallet, don't steal my wallet. Yeah, it was kind of like the movie Hangover, because like my friend showed me the night and photos. I'm like, when would that happen? So it was funny, man, but whatever. Okay. So let's wrap up here. Thanks for all the comment, guys. We still got a bunch of people tuning in, so they really like what you have to say, man. So what's something interesting about you that most people don't know? Actually, is it what's on your hat?
I mean, I'm a helicopter pilot. Yeah. Some people may not know that, although I put helicopters in my ads. I don't know. I think a lot of people don't know I'm married. I have two beautiful daughters. One and 3 years old. You know, and I'm really committed to being a good father. You know, obviously I study stuff like this, but you know, family's super important to me. Oh, here's something that most people don't know. I grew up fairly wealthy. I was never given anything. I was never given anything by my parents, you know, in terms of monetary support. What?
Are they American? They were born in America, your parents?
Yeah. They're born in America. They're from the Midwest, you know, Indiana and Illinois. And but yeah, I grew up in a $10 million house. You know,
oil or something, or
what
do they do for a living?
My dad was the head of a talent agency out here in Los Angeles called William Morris. And so yeah, I went to private school, and I think a lot of people don't know that. So, but you know, I wouldn't say, you know, but you know, again, you know, one thing, you know, I don't mention it that much because I feel like people have connotations that even if you grow up with money, that you know, you're given all this help and all this stuff. And I've been earning my own for my entire life. So, you know, just like any other family, or any other person. Yeah, you know, that was interesting because, you know, there were, you know, 5 billionaires kids in my high school grade. You know, Getty's daughter, Getty's granddaughter was in my grade. You know, Evan Spiegel. He wasn't a billionaire at the time, but he was in the grade below me. The guy who started, you know, Jim Carrey's daughter, you know, the Red Hot Chili Peppers daughter, Steven Spielberg's kid and me played soccer a lot. So, you know, I grew up in a very kind of interesting bubble. But I also think it helped out in many ways in the sense that it gave me very high standards. It set a very high bar for myself, which is all mindset, right? And I believe, you know, a lot of people, they believe, you know, and I'm no exception, that they believe where they, you know, what situation they grow up in, they should be at least at that, you know. But I think it turns negative if you grow up very poor, as that a lot of people find that ceiling for themselves. You know, they, you know, after, you know, if they grow up poor where, you know, making $4,000 a month is a big deal. You know, for somebody who grew up in, you know, whatever, a poor area, and they start making $10,000 a month, I've seen so many, you know, like that. I've seen that negative mindset take over, so that person says, wow, I'm making so much money. And they say, I'm going to buy drugs. I'm going to go to Vegas. I'm going to buy fancy clothes. I'm going to buy like 50 pairs of, expensive sneakers. And it's like, no, dude, like you should take that money and put it and like just put it away. Like put it away. Like buy a house. Put it into bonds. Like don't buy a car. Don't buy stupid stuff you don't know about.
That's really good advice. And it's like if no one tells you that when you're young, like you grow up poor, like if you don't have that father figure or that meant like just you don't know. Like, they don't teach you financing. They don't teach you taxes. Like kind of on your own.
Yeah, I feel uncomfortable every day. I'm not living in a $10 million house with a helipad. Okay. I didn't have a helipad growing up, but I feel uncomfortable, and that uncomfortability drives me to continually learn more, be better, study people who are more successful than me, not spend, like keep my gunpowder dry, not spend my money on stupid stuff. And I think
like
that's,
you have like a vision, or like what normal is to you, and if something's like you have to be at normal, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And and again, the opposite happened. When I was 23 or 24, and I was making $100,000, I was making $100,000, $150,000 profit a month. For me, that was like above my range, right? At 24, like I was going nuts. I was like flying people in private planes, I was just like, because again, I had gone over my, I was out of my comfort level in the other way. I didn't have enough. I had way more money than I knew what to do with. So I was just spending it like crazy and making bad investments.
Who like, obviously it's a good problem to have, but like what advice would you tell someone who'd like experiencing that, where they're, they have a lot of abundance, right? And obviously it requires discipline, right? Like what advice would you give them?
Yeah, I mean, if you bring on advisors for whatever it is you need, for whatever it is you're not best at. So if you're great at sales or business development or acting or something like that, if you're acting, and like that's the purpose for agents, right? Like actors are not always good business people. If you have a lot of money, but you don't know how to invest in the stock market, hire a wealth manager, right? Like get a wealth manager. I work with a wealth manager. They invest all my money. They were the ones who said, we're going to put it all into bonds because you have such a variable income in your business. We need to have a safer investment strategy to hedge against it. And I believe there's going to be a correction happening in 2020. So I didn't make any of these decisions. I just hire people who know about the stuff. I don't study the law. So I hire really good lawyers in particular areas that I need help in. Now I don't, I'm trying to think other examples. I don't know taxes. I hire a good tax person, but what I believe a lot of people do is they just, they say, oh, I need to get done with this tax thing. Oh, I'm just going to go down the street to Liberty taxes, or I'm just going to talk to my buddy about who should be my wealth manager. I say whenever I'm finding a person who's going to advise me on stuff, I do a bit of research, because I know if I just go with oh, this was my buddy said, I might go with my buddy's recommendation, but if the buddy is successful. But I do research on stuff. I'll spend 2 full days researching how to select a wealth manager, what questions to ask, what things I should be looking at. And usually that's enough, and that'll set me up for a good advisor for years.
Yeah, you do your diligence and
yeah.
Cool. Carlos says education and awareness are key to making decisions and choices. Yep, 100%. That's a lot of good advice, man, by the way, for me personally. Cool. So what's your number one book of all time?
Number one book of all time is The Alchemist. The Alchemist, The Journey of Life. I think it's such a beautiful read. It's It's actually brought me to tears before, which is kind of sad. But I've read it about 15 times, and I just love the book. Another really good book I love, but it's really advanced, but it's such a good read, is Cryptonomicon. It's by Neil Stephenson. Or you know what, a good book for earlier beginner is I'll say Snow Crash. Snow Crash is a good book by Neil Stephenson. So,
are these fiction or
fiction? Yeah,
okay.
Science fiction.
Oh, yeah, you're into like science fiction. I remember. Nice. All right. Last one, man. What's the number one thing you want to achieve in life?
Number one thing I want to achieve in life, I guess I want to show people there's an option. I kind of want to, well, I want to really help fix the broken model of the whole like education to like resume to like job selection, employment like process.
Some of the smart companies are kind of like, they don't look at degrees anymore. Like it's shifting a little bit. It's just slow.
Yeah, and I think resumes are so archaic. They're like, it's like a PDF document that has like no integrations with like anything. There's no verification of like, it's like LinkedIn and resumes. They have like,
actually, we're hiring for a position recently, and we got like 80 resumes, and me and Ryan were like, just screw it, just send them a test project. Like, so we said, hey, honestly, we have too much to read, so whoever does this test project by Thursday and does the best job, like, it's just focused on like the job, right? You know, so
I think it's such a broken system, and I believe there's like far better ways to do it. So, and education is changing, and how you measure what a human brain is worth is, you know, it's just, I don't know. So there's the technology, we can do a lot better than what we're doing right now. But it's something that's going to take time and social acceptance to really make the big changes that I'm thinking of.
Gotcha. Cool. Well, I'm excited to see what you develop, man. Obviously, you're going to build some big stuff.
The other thing. Oh, sorry. The other thing is asteroid mining. I'd love to eventually, whatever, I like exit my current business and make $1 billion or something. Asteroid mine, because what people, all day long, I'm talking a lot of motivational stuff, and I'm telling people like, stop being scarcity mindset. Like, you know, like some people get mad at me. They're like, you're teaching me to sell to other people and take money from them. I'm like, no, you're offering them people have this scarcity mindset. I say there's abundance. There's abundance all around us.
I think you said in one of your videos too, like skepticism. A lot of people like.
Yeah, people are so skeptical. People think that the world is like a pie and like everybody gets their slice, and like rich people are like rich because they're stealing from all the poor people and all this stuff. And it's not true. When I say abundance is all around us, it's literally all around us. Like if you look, like there's like a single asteroid that's like up there, like not far from the Earth, has more wealth in it than 20 times the entire GDP of the entire world. You know, just to get, it's like quadrillions of dollars, just to give you like an idea, because it's like, it's so packed with precious metals and golds and palladium and like all this other stuff. I think it's like solid palladium or something. But the point is, all the resources we want are up there. Right? You know, this whole thing about like wars and scarcity and like, I want the Gaza Strip. No, I want the Gaza Strip. No, like these people should be this religion and we want this territory and blah, blah. It's all meaningless once you have an infinite number of resources that you can take from space and bring them back to Earth. Nobody's fighting over water or food or anything anymore. 99.99% of people don't have to work anymore because we can build robots to automate everything for the people who don't want to work. And I'm assuming most people don't want to work. I mean, so we have abundance. Well, the people on Earth wouldn't have to work, but there might be people up in space that are still working jobs, you know, but that's a whole other thing. But the point being, we have abundance. We just need to reach out there and grab it. And I think that'll be the coolest thing ever. Is to like work with Elon Musk's company, his space ferries, and be one of their biggest clients, non-government clients, because we're mining asteroids. I mean, that'd be dope. So that's a fun, that's like a fun idea.
They're building the highway, man.
Yeah, he's building the highway to space, so somebody's got to use it.
Mars, though, because it is a little closer. If I ever want to come back, it's not too hard.
Yeah, I think I don't know why he said Mars is. You know what? It's the moon makes more sense, I think. And we're gonna get a base. We're gonna get a full-time base on the moon. They announce, which I think is really exciting. But our manifest destiny as Americans, as people, as curious inhabitants of this universe, is to go outwards to space. That's it's the mandate. We have to do it. It's not, I can't think of a better mission for humanity to help the Earth to go to space and take the abundance or the resources and bring it back here and make Earth a better place. It just makes pure brain dead sense.
Yeah, I haven't told a lot of people that I want to be buried in the moon, actually. Moore's law, where technology always advances.
Yeah, like doubles or something.
Yeah. If you showed your smartphone to George Washington or something, they would think you're crazy, dude. That man, he'll be like, you can call someone. But in hundreds of years, man, we're gonna be able to travel way farther than our solar system. I'm pretty sure. So.
But I think we are at a crux point. I think people can continue to infight, and people can continue to really take us down the rabbit hole and say, oh, we've got to regulate things more. We have to regulate the bad people more. And these are the bad people. And then these are the, these people say these are the bad people. And we could continue to go down the scarcity mindset, or we can focus on the mandate, go to space. We'll figure out, climate change and all that stuff. We'll figure out all this stuff. Go to space. It doesn't matter. You know what? Gender, who uses the bathroom, or what to, personal pronouns people ask. I mean, I think all of that is just such petty BS to be worried about when, it's like, you didn't ask my pronoun. It's get, okay, sorry, bye. It's like, I'm going to space. That's the goal.
Dude, that's the greatest reply to any petty thing. Be like, okay, but I'm going to space.
Yeah.
I want to put that shirt, dude. Okay, but I'm going to space, so it doesn't matter. All right, cool, man. Well, and for you guys who are watching, we're sober, by the way. We're not anything. We just cool. So we got a bunch of people. A lot of people said thank you, man, for a lot of tips throughout. So so I appreciate kind of the the mind expanding, opening conversations. I got some good stuff from it, man. So I hope some other people do. And any last things you want to say, man, or what do you want to shout out?
Yo, shout out to my boy Daxie. I'd say thank you all for. I hope I added some value to your day. I encourage you to subscribe to me on YouTube, John Crestani, my name, and JohnCrestani, and leave a comment. Let me know you came from the show and you're saying hi. I read all the comments. So, but yeah, it was great spending time with you guys today.
Message John on Facebook. I don't think you're not on Facebook anymore. I saw.
I don't reply to any messages.
Okay, don't do it. There's 100 John Crestani accounts. I don't know if you noticed.
Yeah, I teach affiliate marketing, so a lot of these people end up impersonating me to sell products. So I don't know. It's whatever. There's 100 John Crestanis. That's great. I've duplicated myself.
Who's the real Slim Shady, right?
Who's the real John Crestani? Am I really here? Is this the real? You got the real one. Nice.
All right, man. Well, I'm gonna end the broadcast. Appreciate you being on, and thanks everybody. Peace out.